can see to the left here we have a Savonius vertical axis wind turbine, and to the right is a modified Darius. But here we are focusing on the Savonius itself. Hi there and welcome to Carpenter Resources. In this video we are going to be looking at the building of an architectural miniature Savonius model. So here you see we have welded the stator in place and the supports of the stator. Then we have the steel rod that is going to be used for the rotor itself placed on the side. So it has been separated. Two on the right are meant for the Savonius and two on the left were meant for the modified Darius. So here the basis for the Savonius is being welded. So we used a plate and a steel washer, although these were not sufficient because during high wind, even the low wind on the ground level makes the vertical miniature turbine to tip over. Because of the lack of materials and the time constraints, we just had to make do with this, but it will be made more robust after the exhibition we are going to attend. So you see here is we are meant to use aluminium profile, so we're able to cut cans to use for this purpose. Then also the rotor interface, which is at the top, the rotor interface has a lot of friction, so it prevents the blades from twisting around freely under easy wind. But subsequently we are going to modify it by using a ball joint, a light movable ball joint, so that when there is wind it freely moves around rather than having to contend with friction between the bolt and the washer itself, between the nut and the washer itself. So a different kind of joint, a ball joint, to be installed for this kind of miniature model. So here a steel rod has been welded onto it, which is the rotor itself, to which where the aluminium plates are going to be welded onto the rotor. So we are using a 1 to 10 model. So the model for the 900 watts vertical axis wind turbine was meant to be 3 meters tall and a diameter of about 1.5 meters, but we are using a 1 to 10 scale. So everything has reduced. We now have, it's supposed to be about 1 foot, but because of the constraint of the available aluminium profile, we have to go with 0.2 meters on this one. So we went for, because the regular stick welding was going to cause a lot of damage on the aluminium profile, we went for brazing, which is similar to soldering but at a higher temperature, but a lower temperature than shielded metal arc welding. So we went for brazing. So you see here the positioning of the aluminium profile and the supports to form sort of like a formwork in preparation for the brazing activity. So the different materials were brought in, as well as the metal that is going to be consumed for the joint welding itself. So it's heating up the area, as well as the metal being consumed was placed there in order to weld the aluminium profile with the rotor rod. So first of all, it did some tacking at the extreme edges in order to get the desired positions and stability, so that when the other welding continues, it will already be in position. So we will sort of like fitting. This is fitting of the rotor and the aluminium profile in position prior to the final welding of the joints. So you see here, after the welding of the Savonius was ready for painting and surface finishing, body filler and painting, it was ready. So it was here we were able to discover that the foundation support for this vault was not robust enough to handle light winds. You can see how they are waving all over the place because of the amount of wind at the time, which is quite low compared to the real wind speeds within which vaults operate. So you can see here a primer was painted, an anti-rust was painted onto the Savonius in preparation for the primer, the first coat and the second coat, and possibly a third coat as well. So this is the final finish look after the Savonius was painted. So it was painted white, and there were some edge finishes placed because to prevent the aluminium edges from injuring anyone who touches it. Some rubber protector was placed on the edges for the Savonius. So thank you for watching this video. This is Catchment of Resources, where we create for better living.